The next show is planned for April 9th, 2022. It's about 29 weeks to bring something really special to the stage. I'm very confident that that's going to happen. What is happening, guys? Welcome to another video. So in this video, we're just going to do a sit-down chat one-on-one and just discuss something that I think is important to talk about and something that I've been reminded of recently, and that's how hard prep can get and the sacrifices you have to make in order to get, obviously the end result you want, which is bringing your best physique to the stage. So I made this Instagram post. I'll put it up right here. I just want to read it to you guys, and then we'll kind of expand on it. We'll talk about it a little bit and kind of how it relates to where I am at the stage in prep, and maybe some points that you can relate to with your prep journey, if you're, starting prep, if you're on prep or whatever. So I titled it, "No Sacrifice, No Result." In this sport, the end result will not come without sacrifices. Those sacrifices will include, but are not limited to, limiting/foregoing meals out with friends and family, forcing yourself to go to the gym when every ounce of you doesn't want to, mental fogginess and emotional instability, daily battles with hunger and the desire to eat. If these sacrifices are not met, the end result will not be what's desired. This is a hard pill to swallow for many, and is why very few last more than 1 or 2 competitive seasons. When things get hard, and trust me, they will, many turn away. The ones who stand out are the ones who embrace it and recognize they're doing what they need to do to get the result they want. As what the title says, no sacrifice, no result. And this extends far beyond contest prep, but I think this is a very clear and concise example of what that means. And basically, you're gonna have to make sacrifices across all areas of your life in order to get the desired outcome when it comes to competing. Like I mentioned in that list, we'll start from the top. So limiting and foregoing meals out with friends and family. This is probably the easiest one to, kind of bring up, because when it comes to prepping and dieting, you have, strict macros and calorie targets that you need to hit, and eating out all the time's, probably not going to make that happen. There are very few people that can be, extremely lax with their food over the course of a prep and still get, on stage and bring a physique that's incredible and something that you can look at and be impressed by. Speaking for myself, the first half of the prep, I'm basically at the halfway point right now. And the first half of the prep, we had weekly refeeds, and myself and my coach, he basically said, look, you want to go out with your wife or with your family or friends for that meal, that's fine. Have some leeway with structure, if that makes any sense. So he's giving me macros and stuff on this, refeed day that I have. And I would kind of play around with things and make it work. But I wouldn't say it was 100% perfect. There was definitely times where, maybe things were a bit over. But I will say that I, myself, with how much I've competed and kind of how well I know my body, I kind of knew what I could get away with and still make progress, in a sense. I would not recommend that for everybody, and even, for myself being a little bit more seasoned as an athlete, you could say, I've now had to kibosh that. I now have kind of some stricter structure that I will be adhering to, because I'm at a point in prep now where I can't do that anymore, because now we're getting to the parts where, it needs to be kind of bang on to get that end result for the last half of prep. So, when it comes to limiting those meals out, it's hard. When there's social gatherings, when there's, birthdays and holidays, we're coming up on the Christmas season, we just come through Thanksgiving, all those things, for a lot of people, they've got to really limit themselves and, I guess be a little bit more strict than maybe what they would normally do if they were just eating for the sake of eating, right? A lot of people, when they have these gatherings and stuff, they find it very hard to kind of sit back and, for example, Thanksgiving, right? A popular, turkey, potatoes, that kind of stuff. And for a lot of people, when it comes to your macros, you can make that fit, right? Turkey is a great lean protein source. Potatoes, a good carbohydrate. Vegetables and stuff usually are on the table, and you can make that work. But you got to measure it, you've got to weigh it, and maybe it's not as much as you would normally have, right? And that's very challenging mentally to just, say, okay, this is all I get when there's a plethora of food on the table. I actually yesterday was talking to my mom about Christmas coming up, and she said, what can you eat? And I said, turkey, potatoes, that stuff I can all make work. And she said, no dinner rolls, because that's my kryptonite, you could say, when it comes to holidays, is warm, like buns, a little bit of butter on there. That's pretty damn good, and I can pack away 4, 5, 6 of them when I want to. But something like that, probably not. I might be able to fit one in, but it's at the sacrifices of a lot of carbs within my macros, right? So when it comes to meals out, it's very challenging. So that's kind of the first thing I want to touch on. The next point is forcing yourself to go to the gym when every ounce of you doesn't want to. Now, this is an interesting point because more often than not, people in my position, competitors, we're avid gym goers, right? We're going to go to the gym regardless of if we're competing or not. It's part of our lifestyle. It's not a chore. It's not a task to get in the gym, 4+ days a week. But it gets hard. When you're low on food, when you're low on energy, when you're mentally exhausted, when you're physically beat up, sometimes getting into the gym becomes a task. It becomes a battle, something that you kind of go back and forth with yourself on. If I got it in me today, I really just don't want to train today. Thankfully, I am not at that point yet. I know it's coming. I know for me, typically the last 4 weeks of prep, getting into the gym, just getting that oomph to get up and go can be hard. But that comes with, being in a deficit for so long and being so lean that, getting in there and moving weights around and still trying to challenge yourself and push yourself, it becomes a challenge. So, if you're new to this, if you're coming through prep, a lot of it is mental. And, knowing that your body can get through it, you've just got to have the mindset to push through it and push yourself. I talk about this all the time on Instagram, but a lot of people think prep is an excuse to get weak. They just start kind of half-assing it in the gym because they're like, I'm getting shredded, I'm losing weight, what's the point in trying to push myself? And, I think that couldn't be further from the truth for the majority of your prep. I'm still making progress in the gym. I'm still seeing strength gains and, just making progress as much as I can. And like I said earlier, that's going to become a challenge. And, there's going to be times when that's just not going to happen because of, how low body fat I am and stuff like that. But for the time being, I'm still going to push myself. And that's something that you need to, just mentally kind of lock into and get yourself in the gym when you maybe not quite feel like you want to. The next one, mental fogginess and emotional instability. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people really expect if they haven't prepped before, or if they're, for me, I'm being kind of reminded of this stuff because I haven't prepped since, I haven't competed since 2019. I tried to prep in 2020. So it's been, but even that, I didn't get to this point in prep in 2020. So it's been basically 3 years. And when it comes to the mental side of it, thinking sometimes becomes a chore, and you just, formulating a sentence, even me talking to you guys right now, I feel like my brain is operating slower than maybe it normally would. And then the emotional side of it, you're subtly hungry all the time. Your sleep starts to take a hit. You're just, you're pushing your body, and you just kind of get irritable and, tired and fatigued and just run down. That's probably the best way to describe it, is just getting run down over the course of a prep. And, managing that is half of the battle, right? And making sure you give yourself downtime and time to just kind of relax and recover. And, I try to take time every day to stretch and just read a little bit, or, try to just meditate or whatever can kind of get you through these rough patches. But the emotional and the mental side of this is arguably harder than the physical, right? You can get your body to do things, right? You can, get some pre-workout in you, put some music on and get into the gym. But when you're, at the end of the day and you're sitting there and things are just jumbled, and, you catch yourself being snappy with your spouse, or, you're just kind of quick to respond and you're not really communicating, that's when, things can get hard. And having, a partner that is understanding of that is important too. But, you know, I can speak from my personal experience that it's taken us a long time to get to a point where, you know, I understand how I'm behaving, she understands how I'm behaving or how she's reacting to me, and we kind of just, you know, navigate through things as best we can. But, you know, for a lot of people that can be a big strain on their personal life, right? So having you know, having the understanding of what, you know, you're subjecting your body to and how that can affect you mentally, and recognizing that is important, right? Because if you know, deny it, you know, I'm not being angry, I'm not being moody, when more often than not you are, it can take a toll for sure. And the last point I want to touch on is daily battles with hunger and the desire to eat. And this is something that for the first half of prep, you might not deal with a whole lot, but once you get to those later stages, you know, for me, the latter half of prep now, especially as your body fat gets lower and lower and lower. For me right now, I'm basically, you know, this morning I was 162.6, so, you know, basically 10 pounds off my last stage weight. So we're getting to like the nitty gritty of it now. You know, through the day, there's kind of just that subtle hunger. And, you know, you have a meal and maybe you're full or satiated for 20, 30, 40 minutes if you're lucky. But, you know, that hunger then begins to creep up, and, you know, you look at the clock and you still got, you know, an hour or two to wait before you can eat again. And it's tough. It's definitely something that I think is an underrated battle, right? And I mean, let's be honest, us, you know, complaining about being hungry when we have a plethora of food available and we have a timed meal coming in the next hour is kind of a joke. But I'm just going to acknowledge it for what it is, in the context of prep, that, you know, you will be hungry, and that's unavoidable. And one of the things that I kind of forgot and I tried to get around was fixing that hunger and trying to fight it a little bit, you know, trying to have little things that could subside it, you know, more vegetables, you know, drinking flavored drinks like aminos and stuff like that. And I found that, you know, I did it for about a week and it wrecked my digestion. For like 4 or 5 days, I was bloated, I was, you know, burping, I was gassy. It just was not a fun time. And, you know, it was a reminder that, you know, you got to embrace how hard this can be sometimes, and you just got to do what you got to do and get over it, because, you know, you try to skirt the system a little bit, and, you know, it's a quick smack in the head that, hey, you can't do that, or you're not gonna feel good, you're not gonna get what you want. So when it comes to food and hunger, you gotta suck it up. That's simply put, you gotta suck it up, because if you try to like figure out cheat codes around it, it's probably not gonna go well for the most part. There's little things you can do, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna want food that you can't have, and that's just the name of the game, right? That's just how prep works. So let's close it out there, guys. I know this wasn't the kind of typical vlog style video, but I think, you know, these conversations are important, and these are subjects that I'm gonna, you know, keep putting videos out about, because I think it's important to talk about. You know, we post the photos on Instagram in the good lighting with the good pump, and, you know, everything looks great, everything looks hunky-dory, but behind the scenes, there's challenges and there's battles that, you know, definitely can't be ignored, because I think that can present the image to people that don't know that, oh, why are they having such an easy time and I'm having such a challenge, when, you know, myself and other athletes all over the world, whether they're amateur or pro, they all go through the battles too, and it just takes, you know, sometimes a little bit of mental toughness to get through them, to get to that end result. If you guys enjoyed this kind of stuff, let me know. If you guys liked the video, then obviously give it a like, and let me know if there's other subjects you want me to talk about, you know, things you want to touch on, and we definitely can, and we'll kind of do this moving forward. So thanks a lot, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you guys in the next one.